Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
After years of false starts and DCEU chaos, Superman is back on the big screen. But this time, he's not just saving the world, he's carrying the weight of a fledgling cinematic universe on his shoulders. James Gunn's new DCU on the big screen officially starts here, and the stakes couldn't be higher. Expectations are sky high, pressure's through the roof, and whether you're a lifelong fan or just hoping DC finally figures it out, this movie is gonna get people talking. It takes risks, it tweaks canon, but for what this film sets out to do and how it sets the stage for this new DCU, I think it works. It's bold, maybe even reckless, but it's exactly the kind of swing DC needed to take.
Hey! Quit messing around!
I'm not messing around. I'm doing important stuff.
This is very much a James Gunn film. It's not quite as irreverent or over the top as Guardians of the Galaxy or Peacemaker. You can tell Gunn made an effort to tone things down, but the humor still creeps in, for better or worse. A lot of it worked for me, a few bits didn't. This movie hits the ground running. No slow origin story here, and honestly, I like that. We're dropped into the action right away, opening with a scene from the trailer and a quick bit of text explaining that metahumans have existed on Earth already for 300 years. It's a very different DC universe. It's chaotic, surreal, and very comic booky. If you've read the comics, it feels like a faithful translation of that exaggerated, physics defying world. You get what Gunn's going for pretty quickly. The downside is that it assumes a lot of the audience. You're expected to just roll with the dozens of characters with no backstory and not much context. Superman's been active for 3 years by the time the movie starts, and the Justice Gang is already operating in full swing. For comic fans, that's probably fine. But if this is your first Superman film, you might feel a little lost, or at least wish the movie slowed down to let you connect with some of these characters. And that's a recurring issue. The relentless pacing and sheer number of characters make the movie feel overstuffed. It rarely stops to breathe. Most of the quieter moments come from the Lois and Superman relationship, which is well done, but still could have used more emotional grounding. We're thrown into the middle of their romance with them already 3 months into dating. It works, but it doesn't always spark. Now, let's talk Superman. David Cornsweet is great. I wasn't fully sold from the trailers, but on screen, he nails the role. He feels like a Silver Age Superman. Idealistic, hopeful, a little naive, but in a way that's charming. His moral compass is shaped by a partially damaged message from Jor-El and Lara, so he sees things in black and white terms. People are dying. That's bad. Full stop. One standout scene, a sit down interview with Lois, really drives this home. It's probably my favorite scene in the movie. You see his reverence for life and his refusal to play political games.
My actions? I stopped a war.
Maybe.
Not maybe. I did.
Some viewers think this plotline is meant as a parallel to real world conflicts, like Israel and Gaza, but I think that's a stretch. It's more about Superman as a moral anchor, someone who believes war is wrong because it kills people.
I would question myself in the same situation and consider the consequences.
People were going to die!
There are a few moments where he feels off character, especially if you're attached to the Christopher Reeve version or the comics. But overall, Cornsweet gets the feel of Superman right. He rescues people, a lot, and a squirrel. It's clear Gunn is trying to move away from Snyder's brooding take on the Man of Steel. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, surprisingly great. I was unsure from the trailers, but she brings a classic energy that reminded me a bit of Margot Kidder. She's smart, capable, and believable in the role. The chemistry with Superman isn't as instantly electric as in the 1978 movie, but that might be because we're dropped into an already in progress relationship. Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor is another win. He's eccentric, intense, and while some of his monologues could have used a polish, or fewer of them, he brings a memorable villainous presence. As much as some might fault his motivations or plan in the movie, Holt delivers a solid performance, and he's miles better than the Eisenberg version.
No, ma'am.
As for Luthor's henchmen, Ultraman and the Engineer didn't do much for me. Compared to Zod's crew from Man of Steel or the Donner Superman films, they felt underwhelming. The Engineer in particular lacked presence, and was nowhere near as charismatic or menacing as Ursa in the Donner films.
Let me know if this tickles.
Or even this woman in Man of Steel. The Justice Gang was better than expected. They didn't steal focus from Superman, which was my big worry, but that also means they're underdeveloped. Mr. Terrific stands out the most and had the most screen time. I knew him mainly from Kingdom Come, but here he's slick, capable, and his dry humor lands. Guy Gardner, though, was by far my favorite. Nathan Fillion is hilarious and perfectly cast. I just wish there was more of him. Hawk Girl was fine in action, but out of costume, she felt a bit one note. Isabella Merced plays her with that tough girl snark that's kind of overdone these days. Metamorpho, on the other hand, is completely bizarre and somehow works. That's a character in James Gunn's wheelhouse for sure. Ma and Pa Kent don't play as prominent a role as in Man of Steel. They're alright, and there's a great scene with Pa Kent giving his boy a pep talk, which is one of the better ones in the film. Oh, and Crypto? Crypto's a blast. A bit overused for comedy and totally undisciplined, but he's got a few clever scenes and moments of heroism that made me smile. Not the right breed, though, just saying. As for the negatives, the camera work is inconsistent. There are too many awkward face cam shots, yes, including that one from the trailer, and some goofy angles that clash with the tone. World ending stakes feel undercooked at times. Characters sometimes react like it's no big deal, which breaks immersion, and I don't think it comes across as it should, tonally speaking. Events move too fast. The public turning on Superman, for example, happens almost instantly. There's not enough build up for it to feel believable, just because the movie's stacked with so many different events. There's no truly iconic moment, strangely enough. The final battle is solid, but doesn't leave a lasting impression. Say what you will about Man of Steel, but that Zod fight was unforgettable. This one, not so much. And then the positives. It pulls heavily from the Silver and Bronze Age comics, and that's a huge plus in my book. The tone is light, hopeful, and finally lets Superman be Superman again. It feels like a comic book on the big screen. Absurd physics, bright colors, weird characters, and all. The action is fast, fun, and mostly well directed. The characters are solid, especially Superman, Lois, and Lex. Crypto is the most disobedient best boy, but I loved almost every scene with him in it, even if the CGI wasn't always the most consistent. And James Gunn takes risks. Not all of them work, but they give the movie personality and feel like a breath of fresh air. Superman isn't perfect. The structure is messy, the pacing's relentless, the story doesn't always land, but it's a fun, positive, hopeful take on the Man of Steel. One that takes chances, embraces its comic book roots, and introduces a Superman we can finally believe in again. It's not woke, it's not political, it's a movie about kindness. It's Superman trying to be a good man in the face of a messy world with a devious villain pulling the strings. I really enjoyed it. I'm sure it's going to be a polarizing film, but 8 out of 10 for me. If you're a Superman purist, parts of this might drive you crazy. There's a major canon change. I won't spoil it here, but it's big. If it's in fact true, which the characters in the film claim it is, I am hoping for something to explain it later in another movie, maybe. Maybe tied to the introduction of another villain, but that's probably just me in denial. For some fans, it'll feel like sacrilege. Personally, I thought it worked within this film's story and themes. Now, to be clear, I've never been a diehard Superman guy. I've got plenty of respect for the character, read a lot of his iconic stories, and yeah, I was one of those kids lined up for the Black Bag Death of Superman issue back in the day. But I've always been more of a Batman fan, so lore changes to the character don't hit me quite as hard as they might for the Superman faithful. But I totally get why hardcore Superman fans will probably be upset. But if you're open to something new, something bold, this is the best Superman movie since the first two, in my opinion. Christopher Reeve will always be my Superman, but this one made me smile. And that's saying a lot with the state superhero movies are in these days. I think it's a good sign as to where the DCU can go from here. I want these movies to take chances and go big and bring the comics to life. So here's hoping for more of that, just a bit more polished in structure and story. Well, that's all I got for now. Did you see the movie yet? Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching.